doing, because it would make so much sense for them to band together. They're not going to throw one of you guys' names out, HOH and now Vito. They don't think I'm with their group. They don't know I'm with you guys.
Right.
Like, I'm the perfect little sitting duck right now.
You're a sitting duck to them, and that's fine. Let them think that. They think Taylor's a sitting duck as well.
Yeah.
I think after doing a second blindside this week, it's going to be a lot more harder to hide that.
I know it was just a little thing. I just don't know what else they're saying. And I thought, you know what, I want to nip this in the bud with you guys like right now. Because
trust and believe. Once we set this all into motion with the leftovers, anything I hear outside of this,
I don't
take
care.
as falsehood. And I come back and I say,
Brittany, please understand. We trust you, and you have nothing to worry about.
I appreciate that, because
this is what I'm rocking.
Started giving me too, which sucks, because it's like, I'm trying to like hang with them, but obviously not say anything around them. Of course, they get all suspicious about that. They don't trust me. I'm trying not to hang out with you guys, but I want to hang out with you guys because I like you guys.
And we don't want them. We don't want them to think we trust you either.
Yeah.
I know,
because then they're gonna isolate more. So we're just letting them think you're a free floater. Unfortunately for me, obviously they think like me and Monty can't hide that we're tight, and like we have the festy bestie thing. Terrence is in it now.
Same with me and Michael. They all really like Michael too.
Yes.
So I know it's one of those things that they wouldn't say anything with me. Like, I am the one that they of the bunch. You know what I mean?
But trust, Brittany, even if you see us on a personal level, we're so close with everyone and everything, but in no way will we hesitate our loyalty to you.
I appreciate that, and that's why I wanted to bring this to you guys too. If they're starting to do stuff, I'm like, shit, I don't want them to get in you guys' heads.
No,
I am
Brittany,
2,000% with you guys.
No,
like,
At this point, Brittany, I know for sure everything that comes out of Elizabeth's mouth, everything that comes out of Nicole's mouth,
Indy, any of them.
That, like, it has to be questionable.
Yeah.
Because right now, since we're in power on our side, they're willing to say anything to either extract information from us,
or break us up,
and try to place seeds of information.
And keep that in mind about us as well. Like, even if we have to throw you under the bus, if we have to do anything,
it's fine.
At the end of the day, when we come in this room, we're together.
So honestly, guys, and if you need to throw me under the bus, I would understand, because I am kind of in that position right now that I seem on the outskirts of both.
Yes.
Just maybe not to Daniel, because I could see him coming after me and Michael.
No.
So it's already been, so Nicole was in here and came up with an elaborate plan that
She's
she presented to
after us.
Terrence and I, where she said that she had spoke to Indy about if Indy won HOH, that she should put up me, him, and Terrence.
Like 2 weeks ago that you were next.
I knew voting Amir out, I knew that would show my cards.
Yeah.
I knew it, because they thought that they had me, even though Amir had been throwing my name around first.
100%. Yeah.
And I know they all know, but I'm acting like I don't, because I just want to try to
and
keep the
just
peace, but I know
keep the peace. And they don't trust you. We're not really trusting them. Like, it's a back and forth. Like, everyone's lying. Honestly, my opinion on the Nicole thing is she is targeting you guys, but I think her goal initially
is to really knock one of us out.
Is to knock me or him out, preferably me.
Both of our names means she absolutely needs
Yeah, no, what's funny is she has this whole elaborate scheme. Indy still hasn't told me, and Indy thinks that she trusts me, which I know after Monty put her up, that severed Indy's trust in me, because Monty and me move as one, basically. So there's a whole scheme to use me as a pawn, and neither Indy nor Nicole have told me at all today. And they've told Terrence and Monty, and to me that was to bond Terrence and Monty, to be like, oh, in the instance that all three of us go up next week and we have to make a vote, Monty and Terrence survive and Joseph gets knocked out. And that makes sense, because Nicole has previously tried working with Monty and Terrence, never me. So she's banking on the fact that she can continue manipulating or controlling Monty and Terrence and boot me, who's never opened the door to working with her.
So I think what's being said, because the optics would look better, is that you are the target, but they're really looking.
They're looking for us, to be honest, and the reason is they think we don't trust you either. So their real objective is break one of us three, but mask it with I'm going for Brittany, and we all pretend like, we're all going for Brittany. But the real target is me, Monty.
And the funny thing about that, Brittany, is she told us that she told Indy to do this. Didn't ask us. She just told us.
Yes.
Do you think you're going to strong arm the next week?
Yes.
And then let us know that you're strong arm?
And you're choosing who the pawns are, or
Right.
whether not even to do it. She hasn't even asked me yet, and she pawned me already.
Right.
And the worst part is, I think she only came to Monty because she really hasn't fully trust Indy, but she's running out of options here.
Yeah.
So she's trying to cover her tracks by telling Monty. So if Indy does betray her, she can back down and be like, I told Monty, I'm doing what's best for the house. So I told Monty to make sure.
And it makes so much sense because she's never talking. I literally mean she's never talking. She's just asked you guys to comment. She's talking when I'm not in.
Oh, me too.
Never talking about anything. So it makes sense that, we're just using her, but
Terrence told me she was like going off about me. Like Terrence told me he was like, "Yo, she went off about you," and I was like,
Really?
she's playing too hard. Not even playing well. And
she's playing the same way she accused Taylor of playing, and like getting no repercussions for it.
that's what gets me mad about this because Michael said it best. I just told him what I just told you guys about the Jasmine spewing lies, but I think it's coming from Alyssa and Dee and using Jasmine because they were both on the blog. They need to grab
Jasmine's a
something.
floater now, and she is gravitating towards them more because I can tell Jasmine, after what we pulled, is very suspicious about the people who voted against it. So right now, that's me.
Yeah,
That's you.
me.
So in other words, the floaters that voted against Amira, which was me, you, not even really Michael. It was me and you mainly. And Turner, who they count as well as like a floater who like was HOH but gravitated.
She can't go after him because she's best.
She
friends with
can't,
him.
yeah.
It's-
So they're like really suspicious about us because they feel like we fell to something. In other words, they also look at us as idiots. So
Yeah.
they're like, someone has to be controlling them and they're in the dark.
Yeah.
And I can tell Nicole's been avoiding the hell out of me, and that's a very easy way of like,
Michael is like they're tailoring you. Like that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're
literally.
throwing you out, getting enough people, like spreading enough stuff about you to get you isolated. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, honestly, with the information they have, it makes sense. They just don't know.
Right, that would work.
that we're backing you up. Yeah.
So-
And Brittany, please do not hesitate us. We will show you time after
Yeah.
time.
Actions.
You're not
speak louder than
actions will speak louder than
I
words, and
appreciate
you'll
that,
see.
guys. It's just it's scary when your name's been thrown around in false ways, and I don't want
Yeah.
to make a big scene about it because I know that that's not like. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to let it happen. I'm going to go nip it in the bud when I can.
And
Yeah.
Just
and
let you
almost
guys know.
embrace it. Like I've embraced that.
I've embraced
People have apparently don't believe I do what I do. You know, like okay, fine. You know,
Thanks for giving me the credit.
yeah. Like apparently you think I'm whatever, but like at the same time, I just know that if it's not coming, if I'm not hearing it directly from anybody within the 7,
Yeah.
I don't
just
care.
take it as nonsense.
Well,
you know what
I don't
mean?
care. I literally, like, you guys can hear, you guys can say what you got to say about me. Like, you got to do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, unless it's coming from one of you 7, I don't care what I hear.
And maybe even Terrence. Terrence is
Terrence is
Yeah.
middle ground.
because
Terrence,
ever since Nicole acted so fake when she was literally about to vote him out, and then he stayed and she was like, "Oh my God, I love you," and he was just like,
He was like, oh, fuck this.
yeah, he was like, "I can't believe," and now they're best friends. He's like,
He knows
he's
about
playing
that.
along with it, but he wants her out of here this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Especially after that stunt she pulled this morning, trying to tell us that she's volunteered us to go onto the block
Yeah.
next week.
Just watch. I always say I'm still going for Taylor. I never let Terrence know Nicole's a target because
Yeah.
I never know what grip Nicole has on Terrence. 'Cause
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if Terrence gets desperate enough, like, and he needs a home, Nicole is trying to foster a home for the people who are not us.
I
People are not believing her, but don't underestimate.
I know, bro.
Yeah.
But my thing is, Terrence is somebody, and I can tell because I've met plenty of people like Terrence. When you wrong him once,
You're
that's it.
done.
You're done.
Yeah.
And he's
Sir, please relocate your transmitter.
putting on a show for her right now, and for the whole house that they're, still a part of like some sort of old school group or whatever.
It's Daniel, Nicole, and
Yeah, it's a
it
Daniel
was Daniel,
Nicole,
Nicole,
but he's not.
Alyssa.
He's not.
He is
believe that.
not. And now that doesn't mean that we have to show all of our
Cards to him, but he's more trustworthy than the rest of the house.
Hell yes.
I agree.
Hell
Yes, I agree. I would say how the house is going is it's us, and then Terrence is in the middle. In terms of trustworthiness, it's you 7, ride or die for you. Terrence, and then everyone else is like just wilding.
I almost thought that Jasmine was like next to Terrence, but no. After
I don't know how I feel.
today, she's with everyone.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Jasmine because I know she was in an alliance with the girls, and then when they all found out Amira was backstabbing them, they all just spread out. And it's hard for me to like anyone who was in alliance, anyone who wasn't in this room when we did that was secured some other manner, and now that they're loose, people are just saying what they need to say for protection.
I think so.
Or they're saying things to see where you stand.
Yes,
Yeah.
to
'Cause
blow
that's-
up anything that might be building up in
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah. That's why I'm not letting Jasmine know at all that I heard that Kyle came to me to
No,
say
no.
anything.
The more you, the
I
more
don't
quiet
want
you
her to
stay,
know
the
that
better.
Kyle and I are-
Because when Nicole, I can see it in her face. She's definitely skeptical of
Oh, yeah.
going up.
Oh yeah, and she should be. But at the same time, we don't need her to feel that yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's why when she keeps bothering me, I keep making it clear I want Taylor, just so she can feel more comfortable. And everyone looks at me as a direct line to the HOH.
Yeah.
So she keeps sending Daniel to me because I'll see her and Daniel talk, and then Daniel will come to me, as in like you. And then Nicole thinks she's playing Monty, and Daniel thinks he's playing me. And literally, it's the same tactic she did with Taylor.
Yeah.
I go after Kyle and Monty. She runs the same play. I'm going to go after Kyle and Daniel. And Taylor, you go after Monty and Joseph. Now, they just broke it up. In their immediate alliance, it's you. And I see they're fact-checking Monty and I. Nicole comes to Monty. Daniel comes to me. They ask the same exact question. Then they both go back and be like, Monty said this, Joseph said this. So me and him always have to stay on the same page.
But the
Because
funny thing is they did the same thing with Turner last week. Daniel would be up here every 5 minutes, coming in to check in on Turner. Hey, yeah, me and Turner are boys. Me and Turner are this. Where's Daniel and Turner now?
Right. That's so right.
And
So,
Daniel
but
wants
Nicole feels like she has that level of trust with me, so she'll come up here all the
And
damn time.
Daniel
She'll interrupt
feels like-
meetings. She'll come in at whatever point. But Daniel is now going over to Joe.
to me.
It's the
And
same
then they,
play.
Yeah,
Like,
and then they fact check Monty and I, which is like Daniel keeps reiterating to me like, the Taylor thing, and I keep pushing it back, and then Monty has to do that back to Nicole, and that way when they both link, they get secured in the fact that like, oh yeah, Joseph's dumbass still wants Taylor, like
Yeah.
Monty's ass still wants Taylor, and then they get comfortable because they heard the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I at all start to be like, I don't know how I feel about Nicole, they're gonna think that's coming from Monty to some extent.
Yeah.
So I have to stay very like
I'm so
Taylor,
glad you
Taylor,
guys see
Taylor.
that because that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard. I hate it. We have to like play two different things, but Brittany never doubt us. It might look like
I appreciate that. It's just it was the first time I had heard that they had turned their sights on me, and I was like, I just
yeah.
didn't
For
get
some
that
reason, Brittany,
bug
I hate
because-
it. And like I told you from the first week, they're just using you as like an easy target. And that remember what we said: kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
Keep your kindness, keep your smile. Like I've told you from day one, do what you got to do, and don't stress us out. We're backing you up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Do you guys think it's smart to continue to try to like be friends with them, not
Yeah.
say anything, but be in those groups, or do I just be a lone dove? Because
No. I say keep doing exactly what you've been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
Because if they see any changes in behavior,
They're
then
gonna
they're
get-
gonna
Yeah.
get suspicious.
I noticed myself trying to pull back because I'm like, okay, if I know you're saying lies about me, naturally a human doesn't want to spend time with someone
I
who's
hate
lying
it,
about
but
it.
that's one thing you have to be a little fake in this
Yeah,
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
For sure, dude, it was so hard for me. Terrence literally came in and like told me how Nicole like kind of went off about me, and then I have to
Sit here and be all
sit
lovey-dovey
here
with
and be
Nicole.
like, yeah, which is fine because I know it's game, and
Yeah.
personally, I still do love her. So
Okay.
I just remember that the game and the money gets people to alter their behavior.
Yeah.
So I don't take it personally.
Right.
But you have to let those things separate. Like right now, I know for sure, as much as I love Indy, I know Indy has a plan to pawn me. And I know Indy's, every time she's had multiple opportunities to be like, I need to talk to you, but she's just riding it out.
And it makes so much sense that they're trying to set this up because I think, I don't know this for sure, but I think Alyssa told them about the pose pack
Yes.
or whatever it was called.
Everyone knows in the house.
Right? They know it. And Jasmine and Indy know about it. And so it only makes sense if Indy and Alyssa were up on the block that they would have Jasmine go start spreading stuff about me so that everyone can turn their attention
Yes.
towards me.
They want us grabbing you, yes, which is fine. And don't worry, we will let them believe we want
It's just
to.
stupid that the first thing that they picked, because literally Jasmine told me. So it's like,
Yeah.
like at least don't be sloppy about it.
They're
You're going to
planting
do it.
seeds, and they're not doing a really good
And
job.
the crazy thing is that Indy will come in here and say she doesn't trust Nicole. And then they'll sit there and wait for me to respond. I'm like, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I always
Wow.
say, I don't know.
And then Alyssa, same thing. Oh, I don't trust Nicole. I don't trust
It's
Nicole.
because it's like me going around saying I don't trust Monty to find out if you trust
If
Monty.
you-
Exactly. And they're trying to pull it out of me.
But they're all together still.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. Like, they're doing a good job at hiding it, but I think they're all one. As
Yeah.
much as we start to think, like, oh, Nicole's on the outside. Every time something big in this house happens, Nicole is in a meeting with every single one of those people that's not us.
Yeah.
They always do it. It's the same thing.
In front of us. Like,
And it's very predictable too. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, okay. And that's why, like, when people come in here and they want to chat, come right in. You know, I don't got nothing to hide because I'm not going to show you my cards of who I'm having exclusive conversations with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just find another time to chat. You know, and that's completely fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I told them I was like, when I went in the room and they were all chatting, I literally interrupted and was like, yeah, I wanted to go talk to Monty, but Taylor asked for a minute, and when Monty was closing the door, he gave me a like this face, as in like she's wasting her breath.
Right.
So that way, you know, it shows me and Monty are on the same page that like you're locked out.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that made Daniel starts cracking up, like whatever, like as in like, oh yeah, like Monty and Joseph are booting Taylor out of here. And the next week is supposed to be you, like, cause they already came to me asking me who my next target will be, and I said either. And they always ask me, what do you think about Brittany? And to keep you away from me, I'll be like, I don't really trust Brittany, but her threat to me isn't really high. She hasn't been able to play comps, and that's my way of protecting you without protecting you.
I appreciate that.
And that way they don't think we're close.
But trust and believe, like, we don't have to play that game. We don't have to play their game of trying to, like, lie and deceive. Like,
Yeah.
all the things that we have to do is just around, like, keeping our cards close to our chest.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all that we have to do is just mask it. And if we just hold that on till we get the final 7.
And that's what we're doing, Brittany. So don't, like, it might look like it, but like he said, that's the perfect word. We're just masking it. If I start being like, no, I trust Brittany, they're going to start to be like, okay, Joseph, like, who else do you trust? Joseph,
Yeah.
I trust Taylor. If I start, like, that's not holding our cards close. That's
No.
showing I'm willing to work with her. I'm willing to work with you. So all I'm doing is where they left me in the freelance. Oh, I don't really know Brittany. Oh, I don't really know Taylor. I'm just maintaining that for now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I feel it makes me feel much better talking to you guys that you are seeing through it as much as you are.
Oh, 100%.
Because I was like, oh my God, are they really, like, what if they get a stronghold?
No,
on
no,
us?
no,
She's
no,
like,
no,
I
Brittany.
knew it.
No, trust
I'd be
me.
so sad watching that back and being
Oh,
like,
God, no.
I
Brittany,
was with you and they convinced you otherwise.
No,
I'm
no,
just like,
Brittany, please.
kill me.
that's
Yeah, all
exactly
I'm gonna
why
tell
we
you-
started this alliance.
Yes.
Was because we saw right through it
Because we
this whole
saw
time.
it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And Brittany, please just have faith in us. We didn't, like, that wasn't a scheme. That was genuinely like, you're not going to strong arm this house.
Right.
And you're not going to be isolating people for no reason. Like, I don't think you've done anything to deserve, like, the treatment. So,
I don't know. I think my plan now, not holding my cards, is just to be around them as much as possible, but play like you are, not say anything that they could ever
I
use.
say nothing.
And then
whatever they think of me, they think I'm an idiot who chases Taylor, and Monty is my fucking, I'm a floater through Monty.
because even though they
And I
don't-
let that rock.
Let that right.
even though they don't trust me, they're still acting to me like they trust me. So they will slip up. They're already starting to slip up. And if they slip up with anything, you better bet who I'm telling on.
Yeah, same here.
So,
Same here. And the good thing is we're
Indy comes in
maintaining.
here and tells me that she doesn't trust Nicole and that, you know, she wants to put up you and Michael as targets for next
Yes.
week. And she's like, but I don't trust Nicole. I said, Indy, what am I supposed to do with this information? She goes, oh, well, keep the plan the same, but, you know, just worry about Nicole later. It's like,
And
what am I, an idiot?
No, no. I
You're
swear,
telling me all this?
dude, I swear that's Nicole sending Indy to be like, fact check Monty if he trusts me.
Right.
And it's Nicole verifying if she can put her ass on the block and trust Monty. So that's why Monty has to be like, I would never
Yeah.
put Nicole's most life edge ever. And that's what I say. I tell Daniel all the time, like how much I trust Nicole game-wise, even though Nicole has never spoken game to me. The one time we had a game talk is because I approached her and was like, I want you to know if I'm HOH, I'm not putting you up. I never said if Monty was HOH, I would put you up. So,
and look, that's the same thing with Daniel, right? It's time. Like I told him I would never, put him up or whatever, or I wasn't going to put him up the next time I was HOH.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay true to that, and we'll move
that's
forward.
I'm still trying to stay as true as I can to myself, but at the same time, like, when people play dirty and strong arm the game like that, like, they blow themselves up from within. We really didn't have to do much.
Right.
No.
Like, dude,
Let him implode.
Let him implode.
The leftovers got built in the third week, and we didn't have to do much but let them just treat everyone like.
I mean, thank God they played the way that they did so that we could see through it so much and all band together. Because who knows, if they would have been playing better, we might not have seen
If
it.
Taylor would have went home that week, we were all next to follow.
Yeah.
No one had a fighting chance to win. If Taylor would have went home that week and Amira stayed and everything, that game would have just went fully in their direction. And
the crazy part is we did the best thing for our group by getting Amira out last week because she was good at doing what she did. Nicole is actually not good at doing what she's doing. She's coming over here and telling us what exactly she's telling other people. She's not even sending minions, Well, she is in some sense, right? With like Alyssa and Indy. But she's doing it in such an obvious way because we now recognize this strategy from when Amira did it. Like it's just real hard game.
It's a very, very hard, aggressive approach. Yeah. And unless you're playing a bunch of passive people, no one's going to put up with that.
No.
It's a very, very hard, aggressive, and manipulative approach.
Mm-hmm. And it's just they play it too soon. Like, why the hell would Nicole be talking about who she's putting up as HOH? You haven't even won the damn thing yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're just gauging people's idea to know who to target, which it's fine. Like, I respect their hustle, but it's not my game.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes I don't even care to ask. Like, I don't even care to ask, like, who would you put up? Because I know exactly who you're going to put up. It's just, at this point.
I hate it. I don't even care to talk game with these people. Yeah. But my problem is I don't want them to think Joseph's so damn comfortable that he won't even talk to me. Yeah. And that does make you feel like, that's why, Brittany, if you isolate yourself in a sense or you break away, they're going to be like, why does Brittany feel so good?
I know, that's why I'm like, I have to recognize what the role that I'm playing in this, which is still, even though I know they don't trust me and I don't trust them, is still let them think that I trust them.
Yes.
Because that makes them feel like that I'm desperate.
The revenge is coming, Brittany.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I can't wait. I will sleep so much better at night.
Brittany, you should be sleeping better now. We have your back.
I feel so good at talking to you guys because I was just like, oh my God, what if they really get in their head? I knew you guys would know.
No, they're trying, but like, I'm literally taking it in. I'm like,
I think they keep a lot, because they don't trust me, I think they keep a lot of this from me.
Yeah.
Because they don't, So it is reassuring to hear all the other shit that they're doing that you guys are also seeing through. That
don't worry. And Brittany, you are like a very easy target for them for some reason. So they use you as a mask, a fake. But their real target, trust me, is us. They're coming, and we know that. That's why, trust me.
Well, they're not going to get any of their targets, so we're going to make sure of that. So.
Amen to that.
Leftovers are staying in the damn fridge.
God,
and
I'm so thankful for you guys. I'm just so
and we are for you too.
It was day 19. I'll always, right? It was day 19.
Was it day 19? Oh, yeah, because it was after.
It's the best day.
After your birthday. Right, which was the 23rd.
23rd. It was the night of the 23rd, morning of the 24th.
Yeah, it was the day I won veto, and then that night.
Yeah.
Because you were just giving me all these looks. You're like, you're okay. I was like, oh, Joseph's being nice.
Yeah.
Joseph was working for you.
I was like, wait, I didn't know you guys really had been talking.
Yes, I just couldn't get to you without Amira. But I was really telling you, because we didn't form anything officially, because we all agreed.
We'll wait until
we're all together, because there's no, we want all of us together.
All of it together.
And the thing is, it was just hard because it wasn't a matter of we came up with first. It was just a matter of who you could talk to.
Who you could talk to.
Without,
Michael and I were talking to Kyle about this. All of us had these little semi-individual conversations.
Had that one night where we all just finally got together, and that was the lock-in.
It was perfect. It was perfect. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're this is going to go down in history as one of the
for
biggest turns of events.
And we've never, I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen a season where all the outsiders all
came together. No, usually they just get
and was
picked
able to
off.
flop it.
They usually get picked off. Like, it's the
Usually.
opposite of last season with the cookout. The cookout initially came together because they were all similar people with a common goal.
Yeah.
We're literally the opposite.
Right.
They got together, in the first week? Similar people locked in. We're all different people who had nothing really in common except that we were being strong-armed and isolated, and we came together to flip the house.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm so happy with that.
Oh yeah, we're doing something big.
Story.
As a fan, that I would love to watch that.
Yeah.
So I can't
And
wait.
I'm going to tell you, if there's something I could be a part of, that's what I would love to be
Right.
watching.
Me too.
Watching people strong arm a house, isolate them, and then the leftover pieces of it come together and just not even just unite.
Yeah.
Bunch of different people felt the same way. And even people who were comfortable, like Monty was in a pretty comfortable position. I was in a pretty comfortable position.
But I wasn't though.
No, not in long term,
Yeah.
but in short term, we were pretty comfortable. They were treating us nice. He was in an alliance. I was being liked by the alliance. So they were like, oh, he can maybe make it in jury. He would have been maybe a little deeper in jury. But I hated it. I hated the way you were being treated. I hated the way Taylor was being treated. I had this sense that I really wasn't as, I guess, informed or comfortable or had a say as I did. So I did, like, maybe not as bad as you felt, but I did feel a little on the outside.
Well, I was in their group, let's say, until when did Jasmine become the HOH? It was week 2, right? So I'd say week 1.5. I thought I was in with them. They were the girls. It was Jasmine, Indy, Alyssa, Mia, Mira, because it wasn't Nicole and it wasn't Taylor. Until halfway through Jasmine's HOH,
Everything
where they started. I think I truly do think Amira had the most role to play with that. Although I think all the girls were very complicit in it, and I could sense it. You know when you can just have that gut feeling. You're like, they're not looking me in the eye. They're not talking to me anymore. They're not this. They're not that. And it didn't make any sense because it's like, wait, I was with you guys.
Yeah, and a lot of that had to do with Pooch, too. Pooch was, like, jumping all over the place. Amira was going after him. It was all over the place.
All this stuff. And so it's like, it was just freaking me out because it's like, okay, I don't trust you guys. All of a sudden I hear my name start to be thrown around on things. It's like, what is going on? It's like they get rid of people before they officially leave the house. That doesn't make any sense.
That's
Like, who does that?
That's the negative part of their gameplay. Yeah. That's the hole in the ship.
That's the hole.
Because maybe you can manipulate people. Maybe they would have gone through this fine, but once they started getting very arrogant and cocky, and just having meetings and not thinking that anybody sees this stuff, and then also strong arming conversations and saying you're voting, like just demanding votes as opposed to asking for them. I was like, I knew immediately once they were like came up to me. I was like, yeah, we're getting Pooch out this week. I was like, wait, are you telling me right now? I mean, like that.
And that was. I was never part of any of those decisions.
We talked about it, Brittany. Me and you were like, we were one of the last turns. It was because, like we said, they came to us and they were like, it's Pooch. And I was like, is my game your game?
Right.
And told us. Yeah, they told us. And so I was like, okay, I'm obviously not a part of something if I'm being told what to do. And I was never in the conversations that started it.
That's one thing I always want our alliance to be. This is a team, not a leadership. Everyone here is a team member. You get a say. You get what do you think? It's not we're doing this week. It's what do you think? What's your thoughts? That I wasn't even part of that alliance, and I was getting bossed around. I was like, you got me so fucked up.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
While I have you guys here, what are your thoughts on? Okay, so we get Nicole out this week. What are your thoughts on next week? And I guess the only thing where my head keeps going is that it looks like so we get Nicole out, Taylor will be left. I guess she joins Indy Alyssa. Okay, so then it only really leaves Michael and I as the only bestie victory that doesn't have somebody.
And then in that case, we wait to see who's HOH, and we might put up. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess we haven't talked about it.
We have to throw.
This is. Yeah, that'd be quite the predicament. Because I guess the way things are lining up right now, I think we should think about it. So if Taylor's with Indy, Alyssa, and if Taylor's with Indy, Alyssa, I think target-wise, Daniel and Alyssa are next up, in my
Yeah.
opinion, my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear anything else.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah.
but those who I think are the biggest threats, because Daniel's going to be butthurt about Nicole getting backdoored.
He's going to be gunning
And he's
for
going to be
HOH.
emotional.
Yep. And Alyssa is pretty much. Alyssa is pretty much that glue for the girls right now that I think is sort of holding them together.
Yeah.
Either one, I think, would be a great target to have. It's just the logistics of it, because with Alyssa, that would mean that Taylor has to go up on the block again, which is horrible, and I know she doesn't want that.
Yeah.
With Daniel, I think he doesn't have as much of a social impact as much as he has a physical threat impact to
Yeah.
a competition. So
Yeah.
in my head, I think Daniel could be fine to evict next week.
Yeah.
And then the following week, we work on, Alyssa, whatever have you. And I also think that, like, he's just going to be the most distraught next week.
Yeah.
And he may, but he's receiving a lot of his directives from Nicole.
Too.
He's not giving out directives.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm totally on board with those two people.
Good.
Just making sure, like, there's no setup, no lie. I have to piss.
But yeah,
We're just thinking through. So the worst case scenario would be if Michael and I found ourselves on the block come eviction night, because then there's nothing we can do about that. I'm just trying to think through with the veto players. Would everybody? Because if we were put up initially, then every group has somebody to use veto on us.
very true. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's actually a good.
you know what I mean? If we were put up initially.
That's a yeah.
But if we don't use,
Then
if we don't
there's
get picked for
backdoor.
veto, or there's the backdoor opportunity, and that's the one weakness that I feel like we have in the leftovers.
No, I mean yeah. The only thing is if we're not HOH, how could we convince somebody to put up Michael, who is a veto beast, right?
Yeah.
And the both of you have proven together to win vetoes as well. So it's
Yeah.
like having that pitch to somebody, we'd have to find a great way to make it a win for them.
Yeah.
Excuse me, a win for them.
So wasn't that Nicole's plan to eventually get you guys out?
'Cause they wanna do the opposite.
They want to do the opposite. I
They
see.
wanna put the story is they want to put us up. So I'm thinking back to the two of you, one of the two of you.
Okay.
But really, what they want to do is they want to put us up so that
to keep things the same. Then
keep things the
I
same.
see. Okay.
And then if the power of veto is used, then whoever's HOH can just put you guys up and let
Yeah.
you guys win the veto.
Yeah.
And at
Yeah.
that point, then we're still in a good position.
Yeah.
But that puts a lot of pressure on you and Michael to not only get selected to play in the
know.
veto, but to win.
I would much rather be put on the block initially.
It's Jasmine and Alyssa.
And who's that, Michael?
I don't know who's laying down right there. Yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
Michael.
looks like Michael.
That's Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, who's missing? Nicole, Daniel.
Yeah, Indy's in the bathroom, I think.
Yeah, I would much rather get put on the block initially. Then we know every single group, because it only takes one person in a group
To
to
use the
veto.
power. Yeah.
And we could do that and get us off. That would be a sticky situation if
Yeah.
any of them on the other side, because my role in this is that they don't trust me and that I'm a sitting duck.
Mm-hmm.
They like Michael enough, so I know that the plan would be to let's put him up. We'll save you, Michael, and get Brittany
Really,
out.
the only good thing is, remember, I wouldn't stress it because you're not their real target. Their real target is us. So
Yeah.
even though they're saying your name and it looks shady, I really think, for example, like if Nicole's HOH, she's not going to go down with, I got Brittany out of the house. No, she's really going to go down with, I'm taking one of the guys.
Yeah.
But
I'm just wondering if Indy or Alyssa win HOH or even, I don't even know where Daniel stands. I never talking with him, so I don't know.
I would have no idea what he would do unless Nicole told him something on the way out.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I feel like I would have an indication of what he does, because he literally does what Nicole
I
tells him.
think
Yeah.
Turner will also be a huge target for all of them, considering he spent the entire game. So
Yeah.
I know for sure if Daniel wins HOH, I could convince him to take out Turner.
But here's the thing, though. Unless they just ignore the vote, and well, I guess if we get a unanimous vote for Nicole to get out this week, then that's ideal, because then on the back end, if Daniel wins HOH, he doesn't know who was with Nicole and who was against her.
Which I
right?
think we're going to have a unanimous vote.
Yes. So I
Except
think
for Daniel.
So I think, and Taylor brought up a good point. On eviction day, maybe 2 hours before, I drop a seed saying, "Yo, I'm hearing from everybody that people are voting out Nicole."
To Daniel.
Not to Daniel, but just to plant the seed that whomever.
to Indy, yeah.
You know, we'll spread it like wildfire.
Yeah.
And then, leave them with a very tough decision. Because if you want to be on the wrong side of the vote again, go right ahead.
You're
If you want to look stupid,
I was
go right
thinking
ahead.
That could actually
was
be
thinking
really
the same
good
thing.
if that happened, because I could help spread that seed, because that was the big thing the girls were all but heard about me that I didn't
That
tell
you
them
didn't tell
before
them.
on Mira.
Yes.
And if I tell them this time, maybe that will gain a little trust so that they don't put me and Michael up on the
Yes,
block. That
I'm
will
also
ruin our
thinking
plan.
very close to voting, since I'm Daniel's ear, just to reiterate that we truly didn't have this master plan from the whole time, and it is another flip in the last minute. I'm going to come to Daniel and be like, Daniel, I think I have to vote for Nicole, because remember, Daniel doesn't know I know about post back doors.
Right.
I'm going to be like, Daniel, I'm sorry, but I have to vote against Nicole. And that's just me, which he'll think Joseph's dumbass doesn't think of anything. That means it came from other places. I'm going to be like, Daniel, I'm voting against Nicole because I heard she's in Poe's back door. I'm not in Poe's back door. And, she lied to me. So it's like on her, which is true.
Yeah.
Daniel can't be mad at me for that,
Yeah.
And then
Daniel understands. I had that same logic with the girls, and it did not fly.
But the thing is, when you say it after the vote, that's where they get mad.
That's
if
true.
you say it before the vote, if he wins HOH, he still will trust me, as in like Joseph
Yeah.
came to me when everything switched and he let me know. I was going to ask you guys what you thought about that.
And the thing is, now we're doing them a courtesy,
Yeah.
because
He
but
can
we're
say,
also doing ourselves a justice, because that really masks who was the vote, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if everybody votes Nicole out, then Daniel has no flying idea who is a part of this whole conspiracy
Yeah.
to get his best friend out.
And that's the
everything.
thing. If Daniel gets blindsided again, in other words, I want when Daniel's sitting there, at least if you guys agree that he's not waiting to see Taylor, I need him suspicious that it might be Nicole. That way he can still have some form of trust in this house. So he's not a wild card if he gets HOH. Do you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I
And
am
that'll-
worried about him.
Yeah,
Putting us
that'll
up,
also
too.
make sense coming. Because then if he trusts me, he won't attack you or Terrence. And I might even use you two to protect you and Michael and be like, I'm hearing from Brittany and other people that Nicole was part of Poe's back door. And then Daniel will have no choice but to accept, like, shit, her secret got out and she has to go.
Yeah. Because Daniel's the only other competitor that I worry about, given that Michael and I are the only
He won the veto
people in the
today,
vulnerable. Yeah, he's won 2 comps now. And Michael won 3. He's won 2. So,
And he's
because
only-
when the others left, it's like, oh, I'm not too worried about you winning an HOH. That would put us in the,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. We never really know what type of competition we're going to run into. But what I'm saying is, we're doing ourselves a service by getting rid of one of them.
Yeah.
Judging by how Nicole did in the HOH comp,
Yeah.
judging by how Daniel
Yeah,
did in
Daniel
his
did
first HOH
comp
and in
and
the
the
veto
veto.
comp.
Yeah.
So as long as we get rid of one of them, we're minimizing the risk. And I also and this is not a cocky thing or arrogant thing, but I really believe in the 7 that we have,
So-
that we can win ourselves another HOH next
Yeah.
week.
Next week.
Because just as much as Daniel won today's veto, Kyle answered those damn questions.
He sure did.
So, I believe in us
So we'll have
just as
6.
much.
How many other people will we have? What's our odds? So we'll have
So
6 of us
6
playing.
to their 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have
It's
like
strong
over
6,
a 50% chance, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we should be.
And if it
and
comes-
keep in mind, well, actually, no, it doesn't matter. But I was like, even with their 4, some of them are partnered with some of our people. So,
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, I think we have pretty good odds for the next
And if
HOH.
God forbid we don't win HOH next week, we can cross that bridge once we get there. And maybe it's something where we could finagle Michael and I getting put up so that we for sure get to play veto. Everyone else
And you guys
has
have
a person.
guaranteed safety.
And then
Then we're
ideally,
guaranteed safety.
me, him, and Terrence get selected to play a veto. We win it. We take you guys down. Now both of our, exposed groups are safe,
Yeah.
right? And then we
Oh, that
move
would
on
be
from there.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That would be pretty ideal.
Because then we're going to start moving into the where we can save. We have the numbers now to for sure save each other
Yes,
each
after
time.
this week, we should for sure be able to save anyone who goes out.
Yeah.
And then you and Michael will be the only ones we can't have backdoored, which I think in this part of the game, no one who's not in our alliance is so concerned with you and Michael that they're like, we have to backdoor Brittany. She's controlling the game.
I hope.
They
I
think you're
hope.
isolated and no one wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
So their real plan is they don't really trust me. They don't really trust Monty. They think there's bigger hits to be made. Kyle, too. Alyssa just told me. She was like, I don't know how I feel about Kyle. What he does tomorrow with the veto is really going to tell me whether I can trust him or not. So the good thing is Alyssa now is going to retrust Kyle when
That's
he uses the veto.
That's good.
And Daniel doesn't even know. So they're going to use the veto. Nicole and Taylor goes up. We pushed as long as we can that it's Taylor going home.
Yeah.
We plant the seed the day of the vote that Nicole and that the house is flipping. We give Daniel a hint. That way he doesn't feel like he's blindsided
Yeah.
completely, because that would hurt our alliance if Daniel then is sitting, Alyssa, Indy, Jasmine, and they all four get blindsided. They're going to be like, this isn't a coincidence. Someone did this with
They're
me,
gonna
and
get catch
we're doing
us.
it with this. So we have to make it like a 50-50 situation where if Nicole goes home, that's it. And then the rest of them will definitely, again, they're going to go after Taylor. Which, by the way, you were forgetting about Taylor. They all really hate Taylor for some reason.
Yeah.
If Daniel's here, he's going to blame Nicole leaving on Taylor. Because remember, I just said Taylor's talking to Monty.
Yeah.
He's going to blame Nicole leaving on Taylor. He's going to tell Alyssa and Indy, sorry, you have to go up because Taylor's with you. And the whole house will go after Taylor again. And then
That's really.
that's what I'm hoping happens.
Yeah.
Is that they stay with this weird obsession and hate for Taylor. And wherever Taylor goes, they're going to chase Taylor.
Yeah.
And if they do that, Taylor's going to get chased to Alyssa and Indy. And Alyssa and Indy will go up.
Yeah. Okay. That makes
And that's why I want to talk to Taylor as well, if she's okay with that, because next week, the worst case scenario is Alyssa or Daniel or Indy or Jasmine get HOH, and all four of them hate Taylor. Alyssa maybe the least, but I know for sure the other three hate Taylor. So wherever Taylor gets released to, they're going to chase her. So they can keep cat and mousing her, but we're going to keep bringing her back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just hope Taylor is okay with that, because
Well, if she's not, here's my thing. If we have the power, right? I think we should think a little bit optimistically too.
Yeah.
If we have the power, I think our target should be Daniel for next week.
This is my worst case scenario, is that one of them win.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they're going to chase Taylor and blame this whole thing on Taylor, as they always do. If we win, oh, that's easy. You just pick one right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And do we even do a backdoor, or do we?
No, you try to keep the veto the same. We win the veto, and worst case, if we have to do a backdoor, we have to. But like in that case, it's who's left in teams. It's Alyssa Indy or Jasmine Turner.
Because my
or
thing is,
Daniel Kyle. No, yeah. I'll put up, even I will. Let's say I get it. I'll put up Daniel Kyle. And if they win the veto and use it, Alyssa Indy. And we're done.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's my play if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Because like you said in priority, I don't care who it is, but either Daniel or Alyssa are next.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then Indy, Jasmine, to me, they can stay
Definitely.
longer.
Yeah.
And they can go to jury.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
feel that way too.
But
Yeah, ideally, there's so many other scenarios that will work better. Of course, my mind's always going to the worst case, which is me and Michael ending up on the block or not getting to play veto. So if
I don't
for
think
some
so.
reason we're
Trust
in-
me, Brittany. Right now, you're taking a lot of light. But when Nicole goes home, Taylor will become the face of that, unfortunately. But they're gonna think Taylor did something
But I
Because-
think they're also going to attach that to Brittany
as well, possibly
because
they think
they
you
know
two are
we're
working
close.
together.
Yeah, oh, that sucks.
That's
I
why I
love
told you
Haley so
try
much,
it.
and I don't want her to feel isolated, but I have been spending probably too much time with her.
You are,
Trying
because
to-
they're piecing together, and that's why they told me to stay away from you two.
Damn it.
Because they think you two are gonna recruit me.
Okay, so I just need to hang with the girls, and then lay low, I guess, to
Dude, I
best
think
protect
Taylor's gonna be
Michael.
so funny. She's gonna go put her bikini on and go eat grapes again.
Oh my God.
You remember that?
That's like her move.
That's a pretty power move.
And it's not. It's just her doing her thing.
Yeah. Living life.
Yeah. Well, this was her best case scenario of Daniel, Kyle.
She literally asked for this. She was like, I
Oh,
hope.
it's Michael.
Come in, Michael.
Enter.
Is anybody awake in here?
How's the house doing?
Thinking about that
Everyone's
now.
sleeping.
Oh,
Really?
They're
Like
letting
Daniel
him
was
sleep?
getting a snack in the kitchen, but like Indy and Alyssa and Jasmine just went to lay down, and
Wow.
We've just been talking through a lot of things. I shared with them the whole Jasmine,
Jasmine
lie thing. So
We told her like, don't worry, like no one's getting her.
freaks
Yeah.
me out, but it was good to hear you guys like no
Yeah.
bullshit. But
Yeah, we were just trying to affirm with Brittany
Thank
that
you.
like we're not believing anything
Yeah.
yeah.
Like don't
outside
ever.
of the
I didn't
alliance.
realize how much other shit they've been pulling. They just don't ever tell me stuff. So it's
No.
good to know you guys see through all of that.
Yeah, and I trust me, Brittany. I feel you. There's a whole scheme right now that I'm going up next week, and I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, Michael, what are your thoughts? Because I know Brittany, you had shared this. I don't know if you talked to Michael about this yet. About like you guys, like the idea of you guys
Well, we're
rather
throwing
going
around-
up if they win HOH.
So you know how we were talking about how we're kind of still left exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm all on the Nicole going out this week train, but I am also thinking, gosh, the only flaw to our leftover plan is
You two.
if we
Indy
end
and
up there.
Alyssa not using a veto.
Not Indy and oh yeah, but think Taylor will be on their team next week, so she can use the veto between them.
Oh.
Taylor can
So that
force the
helps.
veto.
So really,
So being backdoored by Indy and Alyssa's.
that would be
Well, I mean-
or really anyone.
Anyone,
Being
yeah.
backdoored by anyone is the worst case scenario. So we were just, I hadn't thought
I don't
anything
think they
through.
would
but-
backdoor you guys. I think they would put you up in this. What we were just talking about is I really think that when Nicole leaves, the remaining people who are not leftovers are going to gun for Taylor as in you did this. They're going to think they don't know how, they don't know what, but Taylor did that.
Yeah.
So I think if
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're going to realize
Something
she had the votes against Nicole. She's going to have the votes against Indy or Alyssa. I don't think they would risk it.
really,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good point.
Well, wait. Oh, all right. Let's just play around with this idea a little bit because I did initially think that, but I think we could leverage some of the conversations that they've been having with me personally because they've been coming up to me and telling me that they don't trust Nicole.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Alyssa has said it. Indy has said it. Jasmine has said it.
That-
There's three people that have verbatim almost said the same thing around Nicole and not being able to trust her.
Yes.
They've been trying to pull information from me to see if I'm going to take her out this week,
Yeah.
which we are. But at the same
But you
time,
keep saying no.
But I keep saying no. But at the same time, I could say, you know what? I got a little bit suspicious. You know,
Everyone was coming to
everyone
you.
was coming
Towards
up to
the
me.
last day, yes.
Yeah, everyone was coming up to me, telling me that they didn't trust Nicole. And I realized that, you know what? Nicole was doing some shady stuff in the background, having
She
meetings
was
with
part of Pose Alliance,
yeah,
old
you know,
school.
Pose Alliance, yeah, whatever. And, you know, I think it was best for my game to get her out that week, right?
Yeah.
And then
And that's on Monty, you know, so they're
that's
not
on
going to
me.
be like,
right, right, and that's on me. So then I'm thinking about the following week, right? Because that seems like a very believable narrative because
Yeah.
that all happened this week,
Mm-hmm.
100%. And again, like if they've only been talking to me about this stuff, let me know. But if they've said it to anybody else, then
No, I've also heard that.
you've also heard it. Okay.
I know
So
when Amira was here, she gave the directive, do not trust Nicole. before
Oh,
she
yes.
left.
And Amira spread throughout to everyone, do not trust Nicole.
She said,
Right.
anything you tell Nicole, go straight to Daniel. So do not tell Nicole anything. And she was never part of the original Girls.
Yeah.
She was always on the outside.
right,
So.
and she even told me that Amira was her connection to the girls anyway.
Yes, I think Amira thinks Nicole sent her home.
So what was that scenario? You were saying, Michael, that like because I felt like I responded to
They piece together.
Yeah, so-
it's
piece
something
together
bigger.
that
Yes, like
Taylor
they're
had-
gonna. I think they've got to realize, like, if Taylor went home or doesn't go home over Nicole, that,
There's something
and
big.
especially if she's up with Alyssa and Indy, that's 2 of their votes now that are on the block and not voting that they can probably count on. But I don't know. I was trying to think through, like, if we could guarantee that Indy would join us, that would be the best case scenario to keep all of us safe.
Yes.
But there's no guarantee that
There's-
Indy,
yeah,
and we
she's-
can't really
She's such a
ask
wild
her
card.
pre-veto,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because, like, I guess if Taylor does join their team, if Daniel, Indy, or Alyssa, I don't know what Terrence would do, I would hope Terrence wouldn't put us up. But like for those 3 for sure, that would be
Terrence-
the worry.
Terrence really trusts Monty, and
Yeah.
we will
Yeah.
make sure you 2 don't go up.
yeah.
Because if any of those 3 won and tried to back, if they put us up
He gave
initially,
his
we'd be
vote, too.
good because someone
He knows
could
that
choose
we
to use the
voted for him,
veto.
too.
But if they did backdoor us, that's the risk there.
So who
So
would
it's-
it be backdooring? I guess, yeah, that's the only worst case scenario.
Is that you 2
backdoors,
get back?
Is that
That's
we
Yeah.
the
get
worst
backdoored.
case scenario.
Right.
But that has so many. First, that means out of the 6 people playing HOH next week, 1 of the 4 won. So we have an over 50% chance for HOH. That also means that whoever does win goes against us because every leftover is just going to make sure you 2 don't go on the block if it's not one of us in power.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is, just talking out loud here, not anything for sure. Would it make sense to try to get us on the block first so that we for sure can play in veto, and then every other team will have one of us
And so
playing veto? So
I definitely agree with that idea.
I think so,
It's
too.
just trying to get to a point where we can convince somebody to put the 2 of yous up. I have
Yeah,
no
because
idea
I
why.
think they'd want to backdoor Turner or something instead.
I wonder-
Turner's a way bigger threat, according to them, than you 2.
I wonder if all of us. I'm just wondering, since I know me, you're a little bit more integrated with the girls now than I think I am. I wonder if it seemed like an easy nom, to whoever won. And this would be worst case scenario. If it seemed like an easy nom, that maybe they'd go around that, them knowing that they have a bigger
Right
backdoor
now,
plan.
Nicole is selling that she wants to backdoor you guys.
See, that's bad. We
she
can't have
cannot.
them
We
have-
cannot have that. She's telling everyone the goal is put us 3 up, and that's the highest chance of winning a veto because we're 3. We win the veto, we obviously come down, and she backdoor you guys. That's what she's trying to spread right now. Now, whether that's true or not, I think she thinks it's a win-win because she's like, okay, either I backdoor Michael and Brittany,
Or keep
or
these
I
idiots
keep
on the
these
block.
3 idiots on the block, and that's perfect. That's our worst case scenario right now. So, I mean, she's out of here, so that idea is going with her.
Yeah. Hopefully, unless
yeah.
Daniel.
Unless
is-
Daniel wants to run it, but I don't think Daniel will because Daniel will really trust. Daniel is so pro Taylor that I would be able, I think, to convince him, put Michael and Brittany up and be like, worst case scenario, they have to fight it out on the block, which we won't. He won't know we're all fighting for the veto for you. But I'll be like, dude, you have to backdoor Taylor. And he'll chase whatever group Taylor goes after.
Yeah.
Daniel is so aggressive to get Taylor out of here that if he has to use a backdoor method, I don't think he's so anti you guys that that's what he would do. I think he would go to backdoor Taylor, use you 2 as a safe, like, hey, you 2, like, sorry guys, I want Taylor, like,
Yeah.
can you go up and Michael do what you do
But
best?
what if
win the
Taylor,
veto?
Alyssa, and D win veto? Then he can't put them.
Taylor pulls you down, she can force the veto.
Or if we were there, but if we're not originally nominated, then I could see us being backdoored.
Yeah,
You
that's
know
the
what I mean?
only problem is we cannot afford you two to get backdoor until we put someone in your group.
Right.
That's why I almost just feel
We're
like
also banking on the fact that it's going to be a pairs competition, because if it is an individual one, there's no guarantee that
there's no guarantee that you could even.
that we would have a say to,
What do you mean? Like if it's
say today was like an individual timed thing and
and
Monty
one
won
person
the
gets a
veto,
veto.
then it's
and
only
it's Monty's
on Monty.
veto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then that could change it.
That's
I mean, you think they would do? Because
That
what
would
is it,
end
second week?
They
That's
could,
next
because
week?
they said you could be competing in pair or like as a team or
in singles.
some competitions. So I would hate for us to volunteer.
Yeah.
And then if we knew that we were competing in pairs, we'd be like, absolutely, like that's the smartest thing. But if we're not, and then
Does
we're
that
stuck
rule
up there,
apply though to both? So say Monty did win. Could Monty, Joseph, or Terrence have used the veto, or is it just because he's the only one who
we don't
won?
know.
I
We
would
don't
hope
know.
as Festy
You're right.
Besties.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's probably they're going to maintain Vesty Besties. I don't think. I'm sure they would let us know ahead of time.
I don't think they would.
Yeah.
Oh, they would.
I think it would be at the veto meeting, because today
Yeah.
they said at the veto meeting today it's going to be after noms that we would know that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Okay, I hadn't thought of that.
So then,
That's a good-
the best
that's a
bet
good
right
point.
now is first one of us win HOH. This is
Yeah, and then we don't even have to
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
conversation.
Second,
Oh, God,
if one of us don't win HOH, we all keep you two out of anyone's sight in mind, which I think is pretty
Doable.
Doable. I think we can do that, because right now, I mean, we have our worst case scenario. Nicole's plan, as she's selling, is to backdoor you guys. I don't know if she talked to you about it yet, Michael, but yeah, her plan. I know.
Do you know who she's all said that to?
Who?
Huh?
Like who she's told this backdoor plan to?
Monty
Me
and
and
Terrence.
Okay.
And
Do you know if
Indy.
she said Indy?
Well, she
And Indy.
proposed it to Indy if Indy wins HOH. That's
Okay.
what she told us.
Because if I obviously I'm going to vote her out, but like when I do, I think I'm going to get some backlash because people assume that Nicole and I are close, and I think Daniel's going to be pissed. So I need to. I don't want to say it. Well, I heard, and he's like, well, she only told you guys, and then that exposes
Yeah.
that. But if she told Indy, like that's an easy is it, like Indy
Well,
told me.
also, I think this could go along with like the narrative being pushed that Nicole is not trustworthy. That starts with the fact that Indy came up to me and said it, Alyssa came up to me and said it, Jasmine came up to me and said it. That convinced me that, hey, I think, and I'll take the brunt of the responsibility for this because we're already insulated with Terrence now.
Yeah.
So now it's not as if like if
Yo, hit the thing. I thought I heard someone.
no, they're not. They're not.
It's just good to know, like, I can say I heard this, and it's not going to be the only people
No.
that she
Yeah.
told.
She
There's
told
other
three.
people out there, so
That-
it could
that-
come from anywhere.
I don't think that's going to be the basis of our narrative for why she's out. I think,
But for my vote, like that's
For your
Yeah,
vote,
so you
for
could
sure
explain
use.
that.
yeah. But I think just like in general, we can say the fact that multiple people who are close to Nicole or who on the girl side told us or told me that she was untrustworthy. I started having conversations with everybody about that. And then on the final hour,
We
we
changed.
dropped that seed and it spreads like wildfire. And everybody's like, wow, I guess everybody's voting Nicole out because we heard that she was trustworthy from the people who were closest with her, you know, like
Yeah.
She.
that guy. Yeah.
Huh?
You scare me when you hit the.
Yeah, I was like,
John.
how'd someone get to the door?
Yeah. I didn't even see
Dude, leave it on that then.
him. Yeah. Why?
We didn't know you were at the door. I
Anybody
was
tailgating you?
No.
Sure, Alyssa isn't looking for you.
I think she was laying down with Indy and.
Oh, okay.
No, she's not. I don't think she will
Yeah,
ever
Indy
talk to me.
it was
again.
like I was sitting on the couch and we were talking to Alyssa, and Jasmine was like napping, and Alyssa had gone to the bathroom, and Jasmine or Indy came and was like, Jasmine, come lay down with me. like okay.
Yeah,
Hi.
she told Indy. She already told Indy. She told Terrence. She told Monty. So she already did that. My excuse when Daniel asked is I'm going to be like, dude, you were there. I asked Nicole in her face about that alliance thing, and Nicole told me no. So then I'm going to be like, dude, I heard she was part of the backdoor thing. She was one of the members. Like, she lied to me. How can I trust her? Why would I give her my vote?
Yeah.
And that way I can stay, because right now Daniel thinks he's getting information from me and that I really want to work with him. And I want to maintain that, because if he gets HOH, he's going to ask me who was feeding me info, who was doing all this, and I'll stir him away from you two. I'll actually like be like Michael and Brittany were always like trying to tell me how much Nicole was good.
Oh, yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to ask. Like, because you asked me about that conversation during Jasmine's HOH. Is that something that I can tell Daniel about? Like, hey, I told Monty, like, you know, when he asked about what happened there, like, yeah, it wasn't you, or is that something you don't want me to even bring up to him? Just to kind of like, because that's, I feel like, most vulnerable if Daniel wins HOH next week. I feel like
yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I wanted to check and make sure that I wasn't like spilling anything or like.
No. I mean, because what would that do? I'm maybe
Just to be like, hey, I vouched for you to Monty when he asked about what happened because people were telling him and stuff.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Sorry, I was losing track of why thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's completely fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Kyle, what we were just talking about was like our narrative for after Nicole gets out and what the plan should be for if, you know, contingency plan if we don't win HOH. How do we make sure that Michael and Brittany
Aren't the ones going up.
aren't the ones being backdoored?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Them
Because
being
that's the
up on the
worst
block
case scenario.
Yeah.
may not be horrible because at least we have a bunch of different people
To come bring him
fight
down.
for the veto.
If it's a pair veto.
Yes.
If it's a
could
pair.
play, and then someone in the pair would use the
Bring it
veto.
down.
Yeah.
And the only bad thing, the worst case, is if Michael and Brittany get backdoored. Like
Yeah.
that is, we cannot have that under any circumstance. And
Or if
that,
the veto's an individual one.
Yes.
That you can't, the pair can't decide.
yeah,
And even if it is a backdoor, and then they nominate me and Daniel or something,
You got the votes.
someone
Yes.
wins the veto.
that's
one
why we
person
have
in
to
the
protect.
pair.
We have to protect Michael and Brittany right now. Nicole is going around with a plan to put me, Monty, Terrence up initially in order to backdoor Michael and Brittany.
Also,
which
she's trying to prep people
Yes.
to not be surprised when one of them wins HOH.
yes,
You guys
and
are gonna
it's a
blow
good
up.
plan because what she's going to do is worst case scenario, me.
Nobody uses the veto.
No one uses the veto. Us three beef it out,
Mm-hmm.
or her plan. She backdoors them,
Mm-hmm.
and
Terrence can't be on board for that because he's got to know that if you three are up, he's gone.
Well, he I don't know if he knows as much of the social game as well as we do. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't know how.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows how he stayed.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he thinks separate
Like-
events came together.
yes,
Yeah.
and Terrence. She said it to Terrence as in, "You're coming down. It's Michael and Brittany I want." So Terrence isn't concerned because he's like,
did Nicole say that already? She
Yes.
said it's Michael and Brittany that I want.
Yes.
like for the backdoor.
Oh, so that's her plan. Then.
Yes.
But
okay,
it's-
yeah, shit, guys.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, but it's obviously flawed because if she wants to keep all three of us up, then she could, right?
Yes,
And she
it's a win-win
had-
for her.
And she didn't tell Joe about this.
She hasn't
right?
told me yet. I've heard it's the only people she informed it was Indy, Monty, and Terrence. She hasn't told me because then I'm assuming she's hoping if for any reason us three stay up, it's me.
That she can get a vote to get Joe out.
Yes.
Right?
Because she wanted me to stay in that room when I left with, I think it was you or someone.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh no, don't go." And I was
She
like,
wanted to
"No,
try to-
I'm out.
Yeah, when I
I'm
came-
out of you.
Reintegrate the pose pack. You know.
Oh, did
remember
she
she was
say
trying
that?
to do
Yeah.
that before
Yeah.
Terrence came in or whatever, and I'm like, "What the hell are we talking
When I
about?"
came
here?
up, she wouldn't. She told me like Terrence wants alone time with Monty and sent me back basically, and that is like her planting Monty and Terrence getting closer, and like if she can't backdoor them, it's me. And I've already heard that although she's attacking Brittany, Michael being a comp beast would be something they're gonna highlight as in, yeah, Brittany is isolated.
Who's she working with though? Like the girls and
I
Danny?
think she has everyone. I think.
Yes, I think they're all working together and they're pretending they hate each other to
Yes.
some extent.
This is what I figured out because Indy has come up to me and sat down and sat here and said, "I don't trust Nicole." Almost identical the way that they all talk
They
about
all say
it.
the
They
same
all say the
exact
same
thing.
have the same
I'm not
narrative.
really trusting Nicole because
Yeah.
and then
And
Alyssa
it's
says
to
the
get
same
us to
thing.
be like, I don't really trust Nicole either, just so Nicole knows not to pawn herself.
Oh gosh.
Never mind. But yeah, so I think they're all doing this to see if I will cough up the beans on
Nicole.
attacking Nicole this week, right? So with that being said, I haven't said anything. I'm just
Neither
like, oh,
have I.
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe she could, maybe she isn't. I don't know. But my main target's Taylor.
That's what I said
Yeah,
too.
Taylor.
So, with all of that being said, I can use that information to say that, you know what? I started getting my feelings about all this information you guys were telling me about.
And it
Nicole, and it
backfires.
backfired. Like, I think I got a victor this
Yeah,
week,
for
you
sure.
know? And then I'll take the brunt of that because at
Yeah.
least I'm insulated with Terrence.
For
You know,
sure.
We're both insulated with Terrence if we get put up on the block. So, yeah, you guys can hate me all you want, whatever. Daniel can hate me all he wants. When you put me up on the block, you're going to get out your boy.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So, good luck with that.
If she feels threatened, why would she come up to you guys and say, next week I'm going to put you up as pawns?
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Because that alone is like,
She doesn't want to put Daniel up. She doesn't want to put
It's her.
Amira Alyssa up.
Yeah.
She'll
No.
put
if she
Jasmine
really
up.
feels threatened, she should be going against that whole group and saying, I'm down to work with you guys. Let's get them out next week or something.
You're
Like,
thinking logically.
Yeah.
aren't you?
Yeah.
coming up here
Their,
saying,
their
What
whole
makes
thing.
it so hard is
Yeah,
that they're
their
all
whole thing
logical
is-
decisions. Why is Jasmine out spreading lies? Kyle, I told them that Jasmine was saying the whole lie thing because I was like, the last thing I need is her getting in anybody's ear. I didn't know you guys had been hearing like all this other shit, so I was like, okay, you were seeing right through
dude,
it.
Jasmine is sneaky though. She's like, she came up to me, she's like, Brittany told me, you told her this. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, no. And I didn't say anything, and then she went straight to Alyssa and was like, Kyle told me that you told her, or that you told him. And so Alyssa's like pissed. I'm
Alyssa
like,
came to me
I
and she's
didn't
like-
do anything. Like, what are you talking about?
Alyssa was saying something like, hopefully I'm going to see if I can trust Kyle based on how he uses the veto tomorrow.
I don't think she trusts me at all, to be honest.
Not anymore.
At least using
I
it
don't
on
think
her.
so.
then
No,
we'll
I'll
build
use it
up.
on her, but I think moving forward, like, that relationship is shot. Like, she's smart enough to know that Amira wasn't a mistake going home and I was involved. And then she gets put up as a pawn. Like,
And that's fine.
she's smarter than that, and I'm, like, fine with that. I
I
don't
have a
think
gut
we'll
feeling that
argue.
she told Indy and Jasmine about Postpac, and that they
guarantee they did. That's
yeah,
real.
and that brought them like closer together.
Yeah.
And that they're using Alyssa and Indy are both on the block, and Jasmine's the one spreading lies about the one girl they axed weeks ago. Like
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah. No, I guarantee Nicole told Daniel about Postpac. I guarantee
She did.
Alyssa told Amira and Jasmine. Like, they're just sloppy about hiding what they know. Like, for Alyssa to tell me I will never vote for Amira and Jasmine, and I'm like,
And
we're not even
Jasmine's-
partnered with Jasmine. Like, what
Yeah.
are you talking about? Like, in what world
Do you?
is that good for me?
And then for her to tell you all this stuff about old school, and for her to sit here and expect you to just sit there and be like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess you'll drag me along until you."
I'll get eighth. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She tried to reel that back the very next day. But what I did, I doubled down and I was like, yeah, no, totally get it. Like, it didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. You're still Postpac all the way. But remind me the names of everyone that was in that. And she went through and reminded me.
Oh my god!
She did try and put that on Daniel. So listen, like, at the end of the
So
day.
Daniel's their scapegoat because they tried
yeah.
to blame the Jasmine's HOH like talk
On
about
Daniel.
backdooring Joseph on Daniel.
Which clearly you were in that room and you didn't get that vibe at
No.
all.
Oh no, I know for a fact because I was still in with.
Oh, yeah, I
the
heard they were
first
trying to
half of that.
backdoor me during that.
What?
I don't think it was ever like seriously
serious, but
let's
it was
do
like,
but it was
let's-
like a hey, let's talk through the options.
Yeah.
and like Daniel was there, and he was just kind of like,
I
I'll
heard it
do
was Daniel. Someone
whatever.
told me Daniel
Yeah.
wanted to backdoor
That's
me.
what Indy
And like,
tried to.
in all honesty, like on that side, Daniel's a person I would want out